your perspective and your take, and to get some feedback from you on how we are doing, as your senator and representative. I would like to thank the staff today for getting everything together for this meeting. I really do. I think it's beneficial to all of us. And to the other legislators, not every area can say this, but whenever there is an issue that comes up for Leake County, I can call on any one of these gentlemen, and we work so well together to be sure that those needs are being addressed for this area. So for that, I'm very grateful to all my colleagues for being so good to work with. Now, I am running for re-election unopposed, and so you get to deal with me for another 4 years, but I'm very humbled by that. Looking forward to continuing to work for you and to serve you in the Mississippi Senate. Since I only have 5 minutes, which is fine, I'm not going to talk about, going into what we're doing in session, I'm not going to talk about the appropriations process. I feel like some of my colleagues will probably get a little bit more in the weeds on that, if you will. At the end, if you all have any questions for me about the Senate position on what we're doing as far as appropriations, please ask me, because I believe I can help answer your questions. But just in the interest of time, I'm going to go straight to the general bills that we're working on at this time. And as you know, the first thing that we did when we got to Jackson this year was we worked on the broadband legislation. And I was very thankful that we were able to, the House originated that bill. Very grateful for their work, getting that in and out very quickly. It moved to the Senate, and we worked together so well to make that bill a reality. Very good for rural Mississippi. So very thankful for that. The human trafficking bill, each chamber has passed a version of that. Very glad that we're able to give law enforcement the tools that they need to combat this very serious problem in our state. And whether any of us like to think about that or realize it, it happens more than we know. It really does. It's terrible. And so anything that we can do to put those additional tools into the hands of law enforcement, that's certainly what we need to do. So very glad that we're able to work on that this year. And the heartbeat bill. So glad that I was a co-author of the Senate version, and we passed a bill the same day that I believe the House passed a version. If it is not the same version, it is very similar. I do believe some of my colleagues were also co-authors on that. As you know, it prohibits abortion whenever a heartbeat can be detected. Now, last year, we thought we did a really big thing, and I believe that we did, when we reduced the ban from 20 weeks down to 15. It's always been our goal to look forward to furthering those bans, but when things started lining up on the national level, it was time for us to address this bill. I'm so glad to have been a small part of that. So I got my 2-minute sign. I want to jump and talk about one more bill very quickly. The harvest permit. It's one thing that hits a lot of people here locally. Last year, Representative Bounds and I worked very closely on the harvest permit. It deals with log trucks, and I don't know if anybody here, I'm looking for Richard Nasser. He is not here today, I don't believe. But it helps provide flexibility for those that transport agricultural products to market. It's very technical in nature. I don't have time to go into all that. This year, we're bringing forward a technical revision that would include wood pellets into who qualifies under this harvest permit. And you think, well, what does that have to do with us? Well, it's going to create an additional market for the very abundant natural resource that we have in timber. So I'm thankful to be a small part of that. I'm very grateful that the Lieutenant Governor and the chair of the committee has trusted me with that legislation once again this year. So those are just a few things I've been working on, and I see my 1-minute signal over here, so I'm actually going to move out of the way, let someone else have it. I'm happy to answer any questions that you all have at the appropriate time. Thank you for the opportunity to serve you.